Hi, it's Anne here, and today's video is my third update for my Pan That Palette project for 2023. This project is going a little bit weird. I was planning on actually skipping this video. Well, not planning on it, but I kind of was like, I'm not even sure I'm going to film it. I'm going to skip it. And then I was like, no, what? I should film it because I think I might skip the next update. Some things are going okay, some things not so much. Let's start off with the things that are going fairly okay. So how I'm doing this project is I have a face palette, or in this case I actually have two face palettes because they have different products, and then an eyeshadow palette, which is just singles that I'm working on. And then I'm kind of picking other palettes here and there each month as I feel like it. That's the part that's not working so great. So anyway, let's get into the Project Pan part. So first up, I am working on this Charlotte Tilbury, oh, that's the wrong side, Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow palette. This has a bronzer and highlight in it. I haven't taken pictures yet, so I don't really know. Like, you can see there's a bit of a pattern on this, but I'll put this side by side up. I don't really know what that pattern looks like, if it looks like I've worn it down more than last month. I feel like the bronzer side is definitely worn down a bit more. I like this palette. It's a queasy, quick and easy palette to use in the morning when I'm in a rush, because I know it's fairly subtle. So even if I'm like brushing, I don't have to be super like cautious and I'm going to over apply or it's going to be like not very well blended. But I've talked about this. Like, I don't know if I don't think I would repurchase this in the future, but I do like it. And I think it would take me a long time to finish this anyway. So last month this was 104.45 grams. It's now 104.02 grams. That's a difference of 0.43 grams, which I think is really good considering I also have bronzers that I've been using in my regular Project Pan as well. Blush palette that I'm working on, that's why I have two palettes because they sort of do different things, is the Benefit Cheek Leaders palette. This one, I'm having there's a weird issue with the numbers on this one, but I feel like I've been using it again. Mostly this shade over here, Dandelion, and like I feel like Dandelion is, I mean, super light. You can't even see it on my finger there, I don't think. So I feel like I have to swirl quite a bit to like pick up product. And I think, I don't know, like I said, I haven't done the pictures yet, so I don't know if the side by side will show much of a difference in the imprint of the word Dandelion or not, but that's the one that I've used the most out of this. I've started dabbling, now that it's getting a bit warmer, into this shade. And I use this every once in a while, but not a whole lot. This shade in the middle is Tickle, and the shade on the other end is California. I don't know what happened, but the weight on this has gone up. Not by a whole lot, but last month it was 98.7. It's now weighing at 98.73. Difference of plus 0.03, which seems a bit odd to me considering I have used, like I feel like I have used this one a lot. Between this one and the Rare Beauty one in my Project Pan, I feel like I'm using both of those quite a bit. But yeah, I don't know why the weight went up on that one. Other than maybe I mistyped the weight last month, which is possible. So next we're going to get into my eyeshadow palette. This is a custom eyeshadow palette. Last month I did pull a shade out and put a new shade in. I also did finish a shade in the Naked Basics palette, and I haven't brought that palette back yet, but I might in the future. So, I mean, these are the shades that we're working with. The ones that I'm working in for this project, the camera will focus, are these 3 shades here, and these 4 shades here, and then this shade here. These two are just like, I keep kind of throwing 1 or 2 shades in every once in a while to mix it up. Those 2 shades, the first one I think is Hex. Yeah, this one, like the really shiny one, is Hex from Cleona, and this one is a ColourPop one in the shade Silver Lining. So yeah, I am weighing each one of these individually. Like I said, I keep repeating myself. I haven't done the pictures yet, so I don't know what this looks like side by side. I feel like the one that came from the Carly Bible palette is kind of looking like the best in terms of usage. But let's talk about weight. So the white one, I thought I'd be using the white one a lot more, and it just hasn't happened, and I don't really know why, but I'm not using the white one a whole lot. So last month it was 1.28. It's now 1.27. That's a difference of 0.01. The pink one, so these 2 came from like little color workshop palettes. The pink one was 1.22 last month. It's now 1.17. That's a difference of 0.05. These two are from the NYX Warm Neutrals palette. This one was 1.36, it's now 1.38. And the medium brown one is what I call this one because it's just a bit of a deeper brown than the other one. Was 1.3 last month and it is now 1.25 this month. That's a difference of 0.05. And then this Carly Bible one, I've been trying to like work on it. I would like to have this finished. Well, if I am skipping next month's update, it will definitely be finished by the next time I update this project. So last month, this one was 1.13 grams. It's now 1.04 grams. That's a difference of 0.09 grams. Then I've got these shades on the side here. So I used to have NYX in the shade Chandelier. I pulled that out and I brought this one in last month. This is called Transylvania from NYX. And I have been focusing on this one because I do want to hit pan on this one before I like roll it out. That's kind of the goal for this guy, is to hit pan on it. So, and I think that's possible. I've got a pretty good dip in it. I do think I will hit pan on it. So last month it was 2.97 grams. It's now 2.88 grams. That's a difference of 0.09 grams. This shade, I haven't used a whole lot. I'm tempted to maybe pull it out after the next quarter. It's called Pewter and it's from Pure Nata. Last month it was 3.65 grams. It's now 3.63 grams. That's a difference of 0.02 grams. And then this guy had some funny weight things go on. This is the shade Morocco from NYX. So these two right here, the two NYX ones, were in these like little travel books. Like they were individual shadows in these little like travel books. I don't know if anybody else has those or like what the deal was. I think they were kind of like a limited edition thing. I got them for free. They were trying to get rid of them. And they threw them in my bag when I was in store. This one's, I think I said the shade, it's called Morocco. It's pretty deep, but I have been using it a little bit more now. However, this one had a funny weight thing last month where the weight didn't change at all. And then this month I had a large weight change. So something happened there. Not sure what, but we'll go with it. Last month it was 2.96 grams. It's now 2.89 grams. So that's a difference of 0.07 grams. I'm really enjoying this little custom palette thing. It's working really well for me. Works great on a day-to-day basis when I don't really want to think about what I'm doing with my makeup. In the crease, I am wearing, I think this brown. That's the brown that you see in the crease. And then the blue, I'll mention in a minute, like the silvery blue, what that is. But yeah, this is working well for me. I'm enjoying how this is going, and I feel confident that I can finish these three in this shade for sure. And then for other shades, it's more about just like kind of hitting pan. I do have a couple other pans that I can pull in that I could potentially finish as well, or get like much bigger pans in going forward. So yeah, that's working really well. In total for this palette, and including that shade in the Naked Basics palette that I finished, and the one that I pulled out, I've used 0.73 grams of eyeshadow in this that palette. So I feel really happy about that. I think that's good progress for me. I have to change my battery on my camera, and then we'll get back and talk about the like palette rotation or like the other palettes that I'm using. And it's not going great. I need to figure out a new plan is the thing. Let me be right back. Okay, things look slightly different. It's because I had to readjust the camera, replace the battery that was dying with a new battery. Let's talk about the palettes that I've been kind of looking at, or that I had like this past week or two. So this one I mentioned like a million times, so I won't keep talking about it. I'm gonna roll it out. Like this will be the last time you will see this in this like series. This is the Sugar Pill Little Twin Stars palette. This is the shade that I'm wearing mostly on my lid. It kind of comes across a bit more icy silvery than blue. It looks a little bit more blue in the pan, but it's interesting because again it still has that blue tinge to it, so it's a little different than just like a silvery gray. Yeah, this is like a really good quality palette. It's a really cute palette. I wouldn't have gone out and bought it on my own, but I don't mind that I have it. I like it. It's a nice little palette. This is the other one that I talked about in my Shop My Stash video. This is the ColourPop Wild Nothing palette. Again, great easy day palette for me. I feel like this is easy to throw on. I don't have to think too hard. I can have some fun with a few shades here. Like I feel like these two middle shades are pretty blingy. I've talked about I don't really care for these two shades a whole lot. I think they're supposed to be Super Shock shades. I mean, they're drying out and they're not like, I'm not getting anything from them. Like I'm getting very, very little from them, and I have to sort of dig into them. I don't know if they do that anymore, because like I think that was a failed test, because I feel like the Super Shocks in a palette don't really work because it's not sealed 100% compared to like in a container, which should be sealed a little bit better. Although I feel like the ColourPop Super Shocks dry out anyway. eventually before you can finish them. So, but yeah, this is a great palette. I like this palette. I like the color story. Not much more to say about that. And then the other one I pulled out, it was kind of similar to that one, but I was like, I want to play with this one too. This is the Too Faced White Peach palette. Again, this is one that I really like. The only shades that I don't really use in this one are the two orange ones. I'm not a big orange eyeshadow fan. I would say orange and green are the two eyeshadows. I'm getting a little better with green, a little more warmed up with green. Like there's a green in that Wild Nothing that I wore a bunch of times because I quite like it. It's like a light, like lime green with gold in it. So it's a little bit, or not lime green, more like a mint green, like a light green with gold in it. But yeah, the oranges, I also really don't use the oranges in this palette, but everything else I do like in this palette. I really like sort of like these transition shades. They're really nice shades to use. This is a palette, again, I've talked about, like I could see myself putting it in at least, maybe not a pan that palette, but like panning specific shades. Like there's like this shade and then these two shades for sure that I could work on panning, and then this shade maybe. Other shades in here I don't see myself panning, and it still smells nice. It smells like those sweet candies, you know, the candy necklace, like the little candies that were on your candy necklace. That's what it kind of smells like to me. But yeah, that's the guy that I've been playing with, that I just pulled out recently. So I have this box. It's getting pretty full, and it's what I've been putting the palettes in. Like when I take them out of my drawer and I use them and I feel like I'm done with them, I've been putting them in this box. I've also been sort of like recording a little list of what I've been using. And I guess I want to say that it's not working great for me, and I need to figure out something better. And I don't know exactly what it is that, I'm just not liking what I'm doing, but I haven't pinpointed what it is that I want to fix and what it is that I want to do. So I don't want to talk a whole lot about it. Other palettes, I don't even know where I left things off last month. I think I did January, February, March palettes already. So the newest palettes in this box is the Huda Nude Light palette. I was going to say Nude Light by Huda, and then I was going to say Huda Beauty Nude Light, and then I said, what did I say? Nuda. I dropped this guy again when I was like organizing, when I was doing my inventory videos, which will go up after this, and I dropped this guy again. So like that shade, I'm panning it. I could pan this or work on panning it. So yeah, that guy, I liked that, and it was fun to use that one in conjunction with, I was using it at the same time I was using this guy, and it worked quite well because they're very complementary. There's not an overlap in shades. I feel like the shades are different, but they complement each other quite well. So I feel like I'm going in and out of focus, and I do apologize if that's happening. I don't know what's going on. So yeah, that's the Mercury Retrograde. I really like that one. I think the other one that I would like to buy, but I feel like it's like too late to buy now, is the Rose Quartz one. I feel like that's a story that I would really like as well. And I do like the formula of the Huda ones. I like the mattes, I like the shimmers. I like those. What else did I pull out? Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk is the only other one to talk about. It's like, this is what I mean. Like, this is not a whole lot. Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk quad. Again, it was a nice, easy quad. I wore it multiple times because it was easy to just sort of throw on and not think too hard about. The shimmer shade, again, almost like those Super Shocks. It's like, I feel like I have to dig into it to like get something out of it. But yeah, really nice light. Like if you're fair to light skin and you like a nice easy wash of color, this is a good palette. Way too expensive for what it's worth though. Like I think you could build this kind of a thing with ColourPop singles, for sure. I would even say like something like this is better, like worth your money. Like maybe get something like this with like one Super Shock from ColourPop and bam, you're done. This is the e.l.f. Rosewater quad. I really like this one in particular. And it's kind of, I mean, they're not the same. Like this is more cool tone and purpley, but you know what I mean? Like there's definitely alternatives to this that I think quality-wise are just as good. And price-wise, way better. So yeah, like, I guess, I think what I was thinking, and the reason why I feel like this is not working is originally when I started this, I was like, I'm going to pull palettes that I really want to use, that I want to use at that time of the year, because last year I was doing a palette roulette, and I'd get palettes like at odd times of the years that just didn't feel right for me to use. Like I would get like a really dark and smoky type palette, like in May, and I was like, I don't really want to wear this palette this time of year, but that's what I pulled. Whereas this year I was like, you know, I'm just going to kind of use them organically, use the ones that I want, and Then at the end of the year, the things that I don't use, maybe those are things I should consider decluttering. And then I found myself reaching for a palette that I've tried to declutter more than once, the Tarte Be You Naturally palette, because it's super neutral. And I talked about this in my last Shop My Stash, that I'm in the office a bit more. I don't know, like, my job's a little different. Things are a little different right now, and I just feel like I don't have as much time to sit and play with makeup like I did the past few years. And I just want things that are quick and easy. And that palette's like super neutral, so I don't really have to think about it. But I'm like, but do I like that palette? Not really. Like, it's okay, but I don't love it. I mean, I've tried to declutter it more than once, and I still have it. So that's why I feel like this is not working, because I'm going to end up with palettes at the end of the year that I like, but are harder for me to use because they take more thought to use. So yeah, that's where I'm struggling with this project. I need to figure out a new structure, and I think I might go back to picking palettes, at least picking a palette at the beginning of the month and picking a larger palette at the beginning of the month. I think that's the problem. I feel like my larger palettes are getting neglected because I'm just focusing on like easy, quick ones to pick, and that's usually the smaller ones. And I feel like the bigger palettes are neglected. That's one of the reasons why I don't like the bigger palettes. Sorry, I felt like I needed to just adjust my camera there. Like I was trying to like stretch to like be in frame. I need to relax a little. So I feel like, yeah, I just feel like I need to pick maybe one of my larger palettes, because those are the ones that I don't grab. And I know this. I like the look of larger palettes. I like the variety of larger palettes. They just take more effort, more thought, more, more room on my desk with my makeup. So I think what I'm going to do is start picking palettes, but not rouletting, just at least picking one palette at the beginning of the month that's a larger palette, and then see how that works. And again, the reason why I'm thinking about that too is I just did my inventory video and I was laying out my palettes, and I was like, I really like my large palettes and I'm not using them. So that's a problem. So yeah, I don't know. And I see people doing like the Level Up project, and that's fine. Like, I don't really want to do panning. I like to get use out of what I have. That's really what it is all about. I want to make sure I'm not just gravitating towards one palette and leaving a bunch of stuff neglected. However, I do realize, like I said, I did my makeup inventory. I filmed it. I haven't edited it yet. That I have too much eyeshadow for one person. Like, I do have a lot in the sense of like, I feel overwhelmed trying to get through it all. But like, looking at what I have, I'd be really hard pressed to like let go of some things. But again, I'm totally repeating myself. I said this in my Shop My Stash. I think I'm going to do a declutter at the end of the year, and I am going to let go of a couple things. Like, I need to. I mean, I did it last year. I did get rid of a couple of palettes, even though I didn't fully get rid of them. I deconstructed them and kept some eyeshadows. But if that's what I'm going to do, if that makes it easier for me to let things go, then that's what I'm going to do. Anyway, I hope you like this update. If you did, feel free to give it a little thumbs up down below. If you haven't already, I would love it if you subscribe to my channel here in Toronto, Canada. I hope you're doing well, and I'll see you sometime soon. Bye.